Hello, my friends, and welcome to a new episode. Today, I will answer a question a lot of you have asked, and that is what makes a great picture? My name is Olivio. I'm a professional designer from Vienna, Austria. And if you enjoy my channel, I also do have a Patreon that is linked in my video description. Let's get started with this topic. So I will use the page Pixabay for this. The reason for that is because you have here the choice between popular editor's choice, but also the latest picture. And when you look at the latest picture, there's a lot of mediocre pictures here, like photos that we take every day. And I'm not saying that these are bad pictures, because a lot of the time we just want to document something that we have seen. We don't have to all the time to do the preparation and all this kind of stuff. So totally okay to take pictures like that. I just want to compare why are they mediocre compared, for example, to these pictures here, which are editor's choice. And of course, there's often stuff here, like for example, this wave or the landscape here, where the subject of the photo itself is already looking good. So just being there and taking the photo is 90% of the work. But there are other pictures, for example, like here we have this bird, which was uploaded to the platform. And you can see it's an interesting picture. It even has this 2/3, 1/3 kind of ratio thing going on. So the composition is kind of okay, but still it's not an interesting picture or not a good picture. So one of the reasons here is that the contrast is rather low. It's hard to discern the bird from the background. Even though it's a black bird and you have a green background, it could be more interesting. And it's just like flowing all into one piece, and it's not really telling an interesting story. Because when we take a photo for the reason of documentation, it's completely okay to take just a picture. But if you want to take a picture where you have prepared and taken the time and want to have a really good picture, you want to have something that's more than just a normal situation. You want to tell a story, you want to tell it in an interesting way, and you want to show people things that they are not seeing in an everyday, with their everyday eyes. So it has to be more than the normal situation, which does not mean that you have to be in a specific or special situation, as we will see with this picture here, for example. It's also a picture of a bird, and there is not really a story here, it's just a bird. But you can see here that we have only the layer where the bird is sharp and the rest is unsharp. Also, we have a foreground that's going on, a background. So there's a lot of room here. It's a very nice nature. Of course, this was edited to make the colors pop more and stuff like that. But there is a very nice contrast between the sharpness of the bird and the blurriness of the background. And there's a very nice layout between the foreground that we have here and the background we have. And it's also kind of interesting to see because these how can I say, leaves here and the bird are on the same layer of sharpness, on the same area of sharpness, that you have a little bit of a comparison of the size of the bird. So he seems to be really small, and this is kind of a cute picture. When we go back to this, I mean, there is foreground, there is background, but all of it is not that interesting. So going down on the ground, having more of this perspective with more blur in the picture would have been a lot more interesting here. And maybe contrast this bird, if you go really low, with a blue sky or something else, that would make the picture more interesting to look at. As you can see here, it's just a vastly better picture. And often with these kind of pictures, you can see here, down here, oh, this is Shutterstock, I can't show that. Let's show this picture here. It's a good choice to have this kind of effect where the background is unsharp and the foreground is sharper, because it just cuts out and really focuses the view. And what you want to do with a good picture is guide the eye of the viewer. And this is what is not happening in this picture, because you could basically look anywhere. Of course, the other parts in the picture are right now not that interesting, but you have to kind of take the time to figure that out, because a lot of the picture is sharp and in the same light and in the same contrast as the rest of the picture. And here there is basically nothing else you could look at than the bird. Well, there's the leaf over here, but clearly the bird is the main focus of this photograph. And the same here. you know it's about the bird. Let's go to another picture. Here we have a cat, same problem. The background is kind of blurry, but it's not that blurry. And again, we don't really have a story. There's nothing going on. We are looking at a cat, but we don't know why we are looking at this cat. It's just a normal cat. So why take this picture? When you compare it, for example, to this picture, we have a story. There is a cute cat. She's making a cute face and she's cleaning her paw. And as you can see here, again, we have this effect with the blurry background. And we have a foreground layer with this thing here sticking out. I would not reduce that from the picture. Maybe a different object. So this kind of dried up, I don't know what it is maybe not the best element, but it gives a little bit of foreground and we have a little bit of background here, which makes the picture more interesting, more alive, and gives it more room that you can place the situation in. So this makes it pretty interesting. And here again, we have a picture, and you can see these are very normal, everyday things that you can find in your own garden. You don't have to fly to strange places to take great pictures. But here we also have a story. There is a dog, and the cat likes the dog, and they are cuddling with each other. So everything about that is very cute, and you know where you have to look. Also, you have you have a nice contrast between the light dog and the kind of light cat, at least in the face area, to the darker background here. And I know you can't always stage these situations, but for example, if you have animals or any kind of nature photographers, they are taking hundreds and hundreds of pictures to get the right shot. So it's not like you would think that the nature photographer goes out there and bam, wham, after half an hour he has great shots. They take days and weeks to find the animals and take the right shots. So probably if you have animals at home, a dog and a cat, maybe you have to take photos for 2 or 3 days, and 1 or 2 of them are really great. So don't think you have to be perfect on every shot. Take your time, find the right situation, and also It's a really important part of photographing to preparing, in the sense that you before watch what you want to photograph and figure out if there are some interesting patterns or things that are happening or different habits that might be different from the things that you're seeing every day. So if you know your cat is having a certain habit at certain times, you can wait there for that situation and then take the perfect shot of that. So this kind of preparation is very important to taking great shots and also to having this kind of story in the shot. Let's go to another one. This is about coffee. And basically, this is what we would take if we are just in a restaurant. We don't have much time to prepare, but we saw this cute preparation of the coffee. And it's an okay shot to just document it, but probably you want to have more of an interesting thing going on from the lighting, from the camera angle, make it more interesting. Let's look at another shot here. And this is, you can see here, this has nicer lighting and and nicer contrast. But the problem in this picture is, although it's a better picture, you don't know where to look. You don't know what is going on. It could be about the coffee, it could be about the plant here. Maybe it's about the windows and that you are in this kind of special room. But this is not really giving you any idea why this picture was actually taken. Well, and this is kind of unsatisfactory for the eye. You want to be guided and you want to have something where you say, oh, wow, that's nice. Here's another picture. This is not a perfect picture. It's not like super great taken as a photograph, but the story and the build-up and what is going on, I think is really nice. I like it because it's kind of warm and human, and it feels great. It feels interesting, and you know it's about coffee, and this person was reading about plants, and there's even a little bit of these plants, so the person was probably comparing the plants to these drawings here to figure out what kind of plant it is. So this gives a little bit of insight also in the person that is drinking the coffee, giving a little bit of setup here, has a bit of kind of exploration, character, stuff like that. Also, this perspective is nice, completely from top down. So these look more like graphical elements, like circles, than 3D objects. So this could, for example, be an interesting build-up. So this is also the nice thing about Pixabay. when you open a picture, you get other suggestions to that. And that is nice because you can look at a picture like this and then you can compare it to other pictures that other people have taken. You can even click here in similar images, and this will give you a lot of suggestions. Okay, this is not what I want to happen. It gives you a lot of suggestions what you could have done differently or other. Of course, you can always also go like this and really prepare and make it more like an artificial shot, although this will never come off as a natural shot that just happens. This is more like advertisement photography or artistic photography, which can be nice, but you instantly know it's not just a off-chance shot. It's really well prepared. So yeah, there's the big difference. So to bring all these points together again, the most important part about that, where do we have the one? This one. The most important parts about it is prepare before you take the shot in your mind what you would like to photograph. For example, here, cute habits of animals. Then take your time to watch the animals you want to photograph to see what kind of habits they display and figure out in which kind of situation you could photograph this best. And then take your time, take a lot of pictures to find the right picture, and look that you have the story, you have a nice picture composition that makes clear what you're photographing compared to this, compared to this where you just don't know what is going on or why the picture was taken. And then try to have some room in your picture where you have a background and a foreground, or at least a story going on around it, so it's not just limited to the one thing. Include something that makes it more interesting, more alive. And this could, by the way, also be said about this shot, which is a very nice shot, but it's more like a nature documentary shot of, hey, look at this, there is this nice specimen. It doesn't really tell a story. If it would have some kind of, like this one, for example, has a lot more story in it. So this guy is searching for food, he's trying to hold on and at the same time be in the air. There's a lot of struggle involved. So there's a lot of interesting things going on, which makes it more of a story and that you are included. So this, I feel like having a story in it or try to build up to some kind of story or some time of revelation that you have while looking at the picture always makes for a very satisfactory experience while looking at a photograph. And like I said, experiment with this. For example, especially when you have these kind of smaller animals, smaller objects with the blurry background, because it cuts out the element. It is much more focused. It makes it much easier for the eye to discern. And this is also a very important part. Show the eye what it needs to see. So you have to guide the eye. That's really important. If the viewer has to figure out what is going on and what they are looking at, this will always lead to a dissatisfactory and unhappy experience. So you want to build up a story, you want to guide the eye, and you want to have a nice contrast so the eye knows where to look and the main subjects are highlighted. Okay, thank you very much. I hope this answered a lot of questions about how to take great photographs. And if there are more questions, please put them in the video comments, and see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Bye.